Okay, hello, everyone. This is Matt from the NFT Champions and Celestia team. Very excited to be here again. How's it going, Johnny?
Hey Matt, doing great, doing great. Getting ready for consensus here, flying out tomorrow, so looking forward to that. And this
Yeah,
is a great kickoff to the week here.
yeah, here we go, huh? Consensus coming up. That's gonna be a lot of fun for you. I unfortunately will not be able to go this year. Um, Instead, I will be on the other side of the world. So, good luck with that. Have fun. Where you
Appreciate
are
it.
is a little bit warmer than where I am, so you know how it goes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We got I'm in Canada here, so we get a lot of snow, a lot of rain this time of year.
Ah, okay. Well, it's going to be nice being somewhere that's a little bit more sunny than, let's say,
Indeed.
um, down to the other half of the continent, let's say. So cool. We're going to get moving right now. Let's get moving. Just a quick review. At the moment, there is a lot of stuff that's going on. We are about to move into EA. We had a land sale that kind of came as a surprise to everyone in the community this past week, and some really cool information about the game, token mechanics, and a thousand different other things. So, we're going to dig into a bunch of questions that are coming from the NFT Champions community and see where we're going from here. There's a bunch more information that's been given to me by the core team to release. So I hope you're ready. Hold on to your top hats.
Great. So I'll get started. We do have a long list of questions here this week. So, question one is: will we be able to open rewards soon? And second part, when will passive rewards be available to be opened?
Ah, yes, the age-old question that has been asked since I started here with the team. Good news, everyone. The rewards are actually going to be claimable during early access. So, as soon as that comes, as soon as it opens for everyone, you will be able to claim those rewards, which is really cool, and see all the fun things that come with that.
Awesome, great start. Question two: when can we sell champions on OpenSea?
Yeah, so once again, that's going to be happening as soon as early access starts. So it'll be during that period. As soon as we go into early access, that will be available on OpenSea, so you'll be able to freely trade champions. Once again, to clarify, because there's been a lot of confusion on this, in game, the only asset you'll be able to use is champ. When you're on OpenSea, obviously you'll be able to trade in other currencies, right? Depending on where you're going to be at. If you're trading land, you can trade in ETH for land. If you're going to be on Polygon side, you can trade in Polygon. But in the game itself, the only thing you can use is champ.
That makes sense. Totally. Great. So, next question following that is the EA. Is it still in April?
Yeah, so good news, everyone. I've told at the moment that all game features needed for early access have been completed. And so what's happening right now is Alex is talking specifically to the Epic Games Store right now to make sure that everything's onboarded, we're ready to go, and then pulling that trigger. So making sure that everything's lined up for that, and things are ready. So it's just a matter of locking in that date and moving forward.
Awesome. Loaded question there for sure. Okay. Next is do we know of any other marketing strategies outside of Waypoint Gaming?
Yeah, so Waypoint Gaming has done a really good job over the past few weeks, helping us with all of the collections that we've been giving away, the Chaos Champions, the streamers, that sort of thing. And we're going to see more of that as we move forward. They are specifically Web3 gaming influencers. So as you've seen, as we've ramped everything up, we've gotten bigger and bigger and bigger on that. And the team is going to continue to partner with many of the same content creators during the early release campaign. So there will be more content coming as we ramp things up towards full release, but this is not the only thing that is happening. Things will continue to happen as we move forward.
Great. Great. So when the game does release, the EA's out, everybody has access. How will the team continue updating? What's the focus of the dev team once the release is out?
Yeah, so with any early access game, right, there are going to be things that don't quite work. Anything you look in there, you say, okay, dev team can test and test and test and test and test. And no matter how much you test, there's going to be small bugs here and there. So the idea being is that the team's going to be focusing on updating the game to improve overall experience. Patch updates are going to be automatically installed. So as we find bugs that move forward. Those are going to be automatically updated in the game client. And then also focusing on updating the game with new content. So as we go through the early access period, adding more content there, improving the overall experience, doing those bug fixes that we need. Community events and other player features, player desired features. So some of the things that you're talking about have not fallen on deaf ears at all. Those are being talked about actively within the team, and that's going to be at the forefront of development. So that's definitely something that we're listening to. That's definitely something that the core team, the development team, is listening to. So please, if you have any suggestions, let us know, and we will definitely take that into consideration as far as what the community wants here.
Excellent, excellent. Now, next, regarding the eggs on marketplace, are they special? The current eggs on the marketplace, are they special? And following up that is like the most rare version or just basic version? So they're asking what can be found there. Are these rare eggs? Are these basic eggs? What's the what can we know about the eggs on the marketplace?
Yeah, so the marketplace eggs are actually different. So they have different champions, they have different rarities than the eggs that you're going to be finding in game. We obviously had some confusion about the potential issues with that diminishing the value if we're getting all these eggs on solar land and things like that. So I can confirm that the marketplace eggs are specifically hatching different champions and are going to have differences in rarity. Obviously, if someone's going in and spending champ tokens on buying these eggs, right, you want those to be worth that champ token. And so we are implementing that. That is already built in. So don't worry about that. If you have bought an egg, if those things have already been in your wallets, those will be different from the eggs that are in game.
Great, great. So the next question we have answered before, but we'll ask it again for those who did not attend. Can you play the game? Can you play the whole game without spending any money?
Yeah, so another good question here from the community. So the game, as you start, does generate a wallet automatically. So there is the option to hold things within game. You're not going to have to necessarily hook up a wallet such as MetaMask or that sort of thing, but it does generate a wallet. But it is possible to enjoy the game without purchasing any NFTs or tokens. However, and this is important, there are core mechanics in the game that you do need to spend champ tokens for. For example, with land that we're talking about, 30% of the tokens that are being utilized in land to, hatch those eggs to use the land are going to be burnt, and the rest is going to be going towards Landowner. So, why it's possible to enjoy the game without using or spending money, it's going to be a lot more difficult. So, we're kind of attracting both sides of the player base here and making sure that there is a strong utility for champ while not artificially limiting the enjoyment.
Great, great. And there is a follow up about the wallets that you did answer, mentioning that it generates its own. So we'll skip that. The next question is, can we get more information on Movesets? And the second part of that question is, how permanent are they before and after evolution?
Yeah, so this is one of those mechanic questions, right, that we've been asking. And as we get closer to EA here, probably something good for everyone to know. So champions are actually learning new moves at levels 1, 5, and 10. Um, According to what I have been told personally, the moves learned are deterministic but different for each champion. So as we move through, as those champions move up, those are going to be gaining new moves there.
Cool. Okay, so is the land the only place where an egg can be hatched?
Once again, one of those big mechanic questions here. So the only place the eggs are going to be obtainable, with the exception of rare occasions, right? Rare occasions, eggs are going to be obtainable by engaging in battles on player-owned land. So as land is being used, you can engage in battles on that land, and that's how you're going to be able to get eggs back. Once obtained, those eggs are going to be able to produce a new champion. You're going to be able to use the land that players have been buying during this early access, or soon to be early access period during the solar land sale, to make sure that you can hatch that champion. That champion will be an NFT. Mystery eggs is different, right? The eggs that have already been minted and bought from the marketplace do not require land to hatch. And so that's an important distinction. I'll say that again. The mystery eggs that have already been minted and bought from the marketplace do not require land. So you're not going to have to pay again and again and again to buy a mystery egg and then hatch it, right? It's only the eggs that are acquired in game.
Awesome. I got a few of those eggs. So, next question is regarding rarity. So, right now we cannot determine a rarity. Will there be any functionality to determine that rarity? Will there be metadata on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So team is actually in the process of adding visible rarity. So that's something that will be happening in the future. It's just not here yet. So look forward to that. That will be happening.
Great, great. Next question regarding tutorials, guides. Can we expect this before launch?
Yes, 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 100% yes. Tutorial guides, they're all coming. They're all being written. This will be happening before launch.
Great. So the next question. There's a lot of confusion around the different branding between NFT Champions and Celestia. How do the team plan to ease this confusion? How
Well, at the moment, Celestia is what's you're going to see on the Epic Game Store, right? That's the name of the game. NFT Champions is the term being used. It's the overall branding, right? So you're talking about when you're talking about the champ token, right? That is NFT Champions. That is the umbrella under which Celestia Ultimate sits, right? So that is the game. That is what you're going to be seeing on the Epic Game Store as that rolls out.
Interesting. So next question we have, will the team be minting new champions as a partnership with OpenSea, just like how they've done with the land?
Yeah, so moving forward here, what's going to be happening is for specific events, for things like, specific giveaways that may be happening. This is something that is to be announced. Obviously, we have talked about the next form of land, right? Chaos land. That is something that will be, partnered with someone. Will it be OpenSea? Will it be someone else? Not sure yet on my side. So the team is reserving the right to do that. However, there will be no more solar land minted after this land sale at the moment. So, but that will be something that the team does look for potentially as a way to encourage adoption.
Got it. That is clear. The next question is there a plan in place to market toward Web 2 players after we market to Web 3 first?
Yeah, 100%. Like that's kind of the purpose of all of this, right? You're looking at partnering with major players in the gaming space, right? Epic Games, that is mostly, like almost exclusively Web
Right.
2. So we're making sure that even though the marketing that's going on right now is getting the attention of Web 3, getting attention of the crypto sphere, the next step, right, is to take it beyond that and to say, okay, we have a really cool game that stands on its own. And hey, you actually can own your true digital assets, right? So that's a fun way you can think about that. But yes, there is plans to market to Web 2 players as well. And that's where this is going, right? The Web3 gaming sphere is quite small compared to the gaming sphere at large. And so it would not be smart to stop at Web3. Of course, there's going to be marketing towards Web2.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Epic Games is a clear step in that direction. Okay, so will the Celestial PC Twitter account be used when marketing towards Web 2 players?
Eventually, eventually. Right now, it's currently inactive. We're not utilizing it, but the team may use it. So we're just trying to build out how we would like to use it, in what way we would like to use it. But there is no timeline to activate that at all. For now, NFT Champions, right, the one I'm on right now, is the main Twitter account for the project. Um, So that's kind of answering that.
Okay. Next is when will the current holders get more information on passive rewards? When can they receive passive rewards?
Yeah. So at the moment, this is one of those things that soon, right? Soon. It's coming soon. They're working on making this very
Mhm.
clear. Because even in the graphics that have been passed around within our community at the moment, it's not abundantly clear about how exactly it works, exactly what you have to do, exactly how long you have to hold, things like that. It's a little confusing, and that's fine. We understand that it's being worked on right now, making sure that holders are actually understanding what they're getting from passive rewards, exactly what they have to do to get to that point, is on the priority list, and that's something that's going to be happening in the next few weeks.
Great, great. In game, will there be an option to purchase champ with fiat?
Yeah. So at the moment, right at the moment, there is not a way to do that with fiat. Players will need to go through a cryptocurrency exchange to purchase chip. From my understanding, this is me personally speaking about this, not the position of NFT champions. There does need to be a differentiator between the actual game itself and cryptocurrency, right? There is a somewhat of a break there. When you're purchasing tokens in game for fiat, there are certain regulations that the game and the studio do need to work on. And so it's something that's being looked at. It's something that you're looking at legal, issues here at the moment to make sure that can happen. Um, but that's not going to happen initially during EA. Of course, that would be a great option, but that's not something to expect immediately.
Clear, got that. Next question. How can players earn NFTs in the game during the play?
Yeah, so once again, players do have a small chance to earn NFTs in community events. So things like raids, things like PvP, things like that. But accessing solar lands, right, utilizing someone else's solar land or buying solar land yourself is the primary way to earn NFTs. So you're going out, you're battling champions on land, you're earning an egg, and then you're hatching an egg. And there's an NFT that comes from that. That's the primary way to earn NFTs in game.
Okay, next question is a two-parter. It's regarding NFT versions, and then will there be a sorry, will there be a second version of NFTs that are not necessarily NFTs? They're asking, will we devalue the NFTs by offering something that isn't an NFT?
So to kind of clarify that question, because I'm also looking at this question, it's a little confusing, and I understand. So the question was, will there be non-NFT versions of some of the NFT champions? And the answer is no, like unequivocally, no. There will not be separate versions. So if there is an NFT version of a champion that exists, there will not be a non-NFT version, right? Obviously don't want to devalue the NFTs that have either been hatched, you spending champ to hatch, or you've earned through in-game play or a community event or something like that. So no, there will not be two versions. It will either be NFT or non-NFT.
Got it. And the next question is, how do solar lands vary from one another? What are the variables?
Ah, yes. So something that I'm guessing a lot of people on this call are really interested in. So each landmass here comes with its own native population of randomly generated champions. So some champions may only appear on these islands, some remote islands, and each champion will only drop eggs related to its species. So this is really gets really interesting about the different species within the NFT champions ecosystem. So you could get a landmass that has a specific type of species. You have to go to that landmass to find that type of NFT champion. But then you might have to go to a different landmass to find a different type because eggs are only dropped by that type of champion. Obviously, if you have one type, it's not going to drop a egg from another type. That doesn't make sense from a lore perspective. And so that's definitely something that encourages people to go to different islands, right? Different pieces of land and kind of spread the love a little bit.
Great. Now, the next question regards blockchains. Is so the land is on ETH chain and the champions are on Polygon. How does that work? How do they interact?
Yeah. So what ends up happening with the way the game is set up is you have a multi-chain wallet that's in game, right? In order for Solar Land to be displayed in game, players have to have the NFTs in their wallet. So if you have NFT champions on Polygon that you have or hatched or whatever that, it needs to be in that address on Polygon, and the same thing needs to happen with the Solar Lands, right? So as long as it's in the same address, even if it's on different chains, it will be registered in game. And so it should minimize any friction that we have from a player standpoint.
And everybody's of course excited about land. They're wondering, do we have previews of land and land rarities?
Yeah. So at the moment, the only two types of land that are going to be happening are Solar Land and Chaos Land, which plays into the idea of uncorrupted and corrupted champions within the game's lore. Examples of both types of land are actually seen in the Land Explained video. So if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out. It's on our Twitter. It's just a few tweets down. Go look at that because you can see both types of land within that. Like we have said many, many times, right? As soon as this mint is done in just a few days, there will be no more solar land minted. A few months from now, a while from now, there will be Chaos Land offered in some form, but that's not anytime soon.
Got it. Got it. And here's another question we've had before, but just for the sake of everybody here, when will the next burn happen?
Yeah, as always, the answer is the same. Burns are going to occur randomly and will not be announced. That's not something that we're gonna talk about before they happen, simply because we don't want anyone front running it. If we announce a burn, obviously people are going to buy the token. The burn is going to press up the token, and then people who are just trying to make a quick short term trade are going to sell the token. You're going to see a big up, big down. We don't want that to happen. So it will happen when it happens. I'm sorry, I can't give you more information about that right now. But we do have confirmation of burn mechanics in game right now through the land, and that will be happening on the regular.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more with that decision. The next question is, will the early access be a time period for play? And if so, how long will that period be?
Yes. So at this point, early access period will be open until the full game is released. There is no set time limit. So from the point where early access opens, you're able to download the client, you're able to start playing. You will be able to play until the full game is released. If we look at some other games within the gaming ecosystem, EA can take a little bit of time. But the idea is constantly adding material, constantly adding things that are asked for by the community, get to a point where we feel super super confident about the game, and then doing a full release of everything. I mean, some of the most successful games on Epic Games even took a while before release, and that's because they listen to their community, they're taking feedback, and they're implementing things that every single one of their community members were asking for. And so we're taking part of that to heart, and making sure that we're creating a game that is going to have people coming back over and over again and playing for months and months and years.
Great. So the next user is asking if there's any more information on the private raid event and the drops. Will the community get to play this build?
Yeah, so the raid event will be available in early access. The community does have a chance of earning NFTs through a giveaway hosted by Waypoint. And I actually did see some of the winners start to come through, which was cool. So congrats to those of you that actually are starting to win a bunch of those NFTs that have come through, the Chaos NFTs. But the raid event will be in early access. You will be able to play, and I'm looking forward to some of you in kind of the really core group making some content for that. Really excited about that and see what comes out of it.
Excellent. The next question is all about breeding. How does the breeding system work? The breeding time. What are the results of breeding? What can you tell us?
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this as clear as possible to make sure there's no confusion here. So, breeding in game can occur by obtaining eggs from battling champions on land. So, if you go to land, right, you're battling champions on someone's land, and you have a chance to earn a egg drop, right? Um, at that point, when you earn an egg drop, we need to make sure that you can actually go hatch that. So you're also going to someone's piece of land. You're also you're paying them in champ. and encouraging that burn for use of that. And total breeding time is variable. Okay. So that's not something that's going to necessarily be fixed, but there will be a spectrum of how long it takes to hatch an egg. Once hatched, however long that takes, a new champion will be created that will be an NFT, right? So what you're doing, you're going to land, you're using that land in order to battle champions. You might get a egg drop from battling champions over time. You then are paying landowners in champ to make sure that you can hatch that NFT. And then you, on the other side of that, will receive an NFT of various rarities, right? Depending on various metrics in game.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so last three questions, Matt. The first one is regarding land. How can we access the land in game, and how does the game mechanics work in the way that do landowners get a fair share of users in their land if we take out pricing? And then finally, can someone get a remote location that nobody else uses?
Yeah. So once again, a really good question here. This goes back to like kind of super deep mechanics of if I buy land, if I'm spending my money to buy a point 0.8 ETH mint, am I going to see a return there? And the cool thing about this is the way that the team has set this up is that islands that are oversaturated they're used more than islands that are not saturated will become less visible in game. So if you have one island that has, I'm making up numbers right now, so don't hold me to these numbers, has 100 eggs being hatched or 100 players on it battling champions, you can have that kind of fade away and be less visible than a piece of land that has no one on it, right? So there is a balancing system there that does allow all lands to be relatively equally utilized. So that does play into the pricing schema, right? Because since individual landowners can set their pricing, some lands are going to be more beneficial than others. So if someone sets it really low, obviously that's going to be utilized, but that's going to start fade away and be less visible. Whereas something that has no one, right, utilizing the land at the moment will be a little bit more visible. And so when new players come into the game, when they're signing in, unused land will be prioritized above land that is heavily utilized, basically.
That makes sense. The next question is, what does Grail mean? Is it a new rarity?
So it is not a new rarity. Grail in this circumstance refers to chaos champions. So Grail, when you've seen all the waypoint creators talking about Grail champions, those are chaos champions. Same. And so you can think about what potentially could come in the lore from that. And so be aware of that.
Okay, and the last question, Matt, you've answered earlier, but we'll ask it again. Will current Gen 1 egg holders have to pay landowners to hatch their eggs?
So no, unequivocally no. These are mystery eggs. These are Gen 1 eggs. Land is not required for hatching. So if you purchased eggs, if you've won eggs, you do not have to pay in game to be able to hatch that. You will be able to hatch that in a different mechanic. So this is like 5 pages, 6 pages of questions and answers we've gone through. So thank you all so much for asking all of those. Thank you for sending me those in our Telegram space. And that's been fantastic. So I'm going to ask Trevor to come on up right now since he's been waiting for a bit. One of our community members that's been around for quite a
Can you
while.
hear
If
me?
any of the rest, hello, can hear you.
Hey,
If any of the rest of you would like to ask questions, please feel free to request. We'll be here for the next 10, 15 minutes asking questions, answering questions about the game. So just click that request button. We're happy to take questions from you right now. Trevor, you're up.
hey, thank you so much. First, I want before I even ask a question, I am every day, every week and month that I'm in this project, I just see more and more validation of being here. Even coming from hearing outside sources like Bryson, the streamer, which I think a lot of us have heard or known, saying this is the best Web3 game that I've ever seen. And hearing that from someone that's unbiased, that has nothing to do with the project, to say something like that should let everyone know that we are in the right position where we need to be. So, with that being said, the land sales, I'm happy to see what we're getting. I thought that maybe we should have waited a bit for marketing to fully finish before like launching that. But I'm hoping to see if the team uses those resources to just expand our growth and reach, and if we have any idea what those resources may be used for.
Yeah, so like we said earlier, there's certain things that we can't really talk about in order to prevent people from, front running stuff. But at the same time, like some of that will go in places that will benefit the game. That's all I really can say right now without damaging the
Yeah.
project at
Okay,
the moment.
for sure.
So unfortunately,
Yeah.
I can't say more than that, but it will be utilized towards continuing to promote the game, to continuing to move the game
Nice.
forward, continuing to make sure that more people are aware of what we're doing. I mean, we do have plans at the moment to market to Web2 gamers. We do have plans to continue buybacks and burns. So those are things that could be used for. I can't give one or the other, because
Yeah.
if I said unequivocally that money would be all used for burns, obviously that would take the token price and drive it up. So I'm
Sure.
not going to say that. I'm not saying that's happening. What I am saying, it will be used for the good of the project.
Nice, great. That's good to hear. So another thing is too, more of a suggestion than a question. I see a lot of people, new people looking at this project, and they don't really even know much about the champ token itself. They also don't know about passive rewards whatsoever. I feel that we should maybe do like a visual or a video or something that breaks everything down, because if you show a video visually of like a legendary drop being opened, and you show all the tiers 1 through 5 and how cheap it is really to get to tier 5 right now, and having whatever kind of NFT or champ or item being dropped, I think that would cause a great surge in our token. I you know what, I'm not afraid to talk about the token, because I feel it's been a little bit stigmatized to a degree that we haven't really done much exposure on that part and talked about the tokenomics. I just think that that's something moving forward we should start to address.
Yeah, and I think what you brought up just then was a really good idea of sitting down and saying, "Hey, here's actually the use here in a video." I will
Yeah.
make sure to pass it on to the core team. I will make sure to pass it on to the people who are doing our videos. I can't promise anything. I'm the Twitter guy, but what I
Yeah.
can do is I can pass that on, and we are listening. This are like all your suggestions, all your questions are being passed on,
Yep.
and so you are being heard.
All right. I
Um,
appreciate it.
but I think that's a great idea, and I think
Yeah.
we should explore that.
Yep. And Matt, good job, man. You've been doing a terrific job going above and beyond. Communications gone 10x in the right direction. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks.
Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. Thanks for coming up and asking. Up next, we have Crypto Mozart. You're up.
Is it possible to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, super, super. I'm just sitting in the car. I just have a question. So, in general, it's also possible if you own a land to create unlimited eggs and sell them. Did I get that right?
So within the, sorry, say that again. You cracked up for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, if you're a landowner, does it mean you can create unlimited eggs and sell it on the market?
Yeah, so one of the things about land is if you have your land, you can use your land how you want, right? Lands are obviously quite valuable, because if you have it, you can choose who uses it, right? That means you, that means other people. And if you're on your own land, right, saying, hey, I'm going to use this land in exchange for me paying my own champ tokens, you don't have to do that, right? You can use your own land, which means you can get eggs from your own land, and then you can use your own land to hatch, right?
I
And so
see.
that's a major advantage to owning land there. And that's something that, like, I'm sure most of the landowners, I think we have what, like 50 something mints right now with that. But it is possible to spend all your time on your own land, to battle all these champions, to pay yourself, right? And then to hatch your own champions on your own land, right? If you want to be that old man that's sitting there, hey, get off my land, you can do that. That's fine.
So it's unlimited, right? Did I get that right?
I mean, it's unlimited is a hard thing because it's limited by time, right? This is not something you can just sit there and like it's you can just spawn eggs, right? You're still going to have to spend the time battling champions. You're still going to have to spend time hatching them, right? But no, there is not a cap on like how many eggs are being minted. The cap is how much land is available and how many eggs can hatch during any given time.
I
So,
see, I see.
does that make sense to you?
Yeah, partially. Yeah, I'm still like thinking how the ecosystem is going to work if somebody is like, let's say, spending a lot of time on their lands and minting like unlimited X on the Polygon chain or on the Champ chain.
Yeah, so that takes time. I mean, it's no different than you renting it out to someone else, right? If you're renting it out to someone else, you still have to spend the time getting the eggs, battling for the eggs. You still have to spend the time hatching them. And so you as an individual, if you were to say, "Hey, no one else is using my land," which you know, fine, you can do that. You have the right if you buy land. But what ends up happening is there's only one person that's minting that land. So it's limited by the amount of people they're using that. If it's one person, right, you have a limited amount of NFTs versus a bunch of people using the land where maybe things are a little bit moving a little bit more, if that makes sense. So there's some interesting mechanics here. Like you said, how many NFTs are going to be hatched? It's limited by the amount of time it takes each egg to hatch, which we don't know yet, right?
Okay.
So we'll see.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for answering my questions.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Freelancer, I believe you're up.
Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, can.
Excellent, excellent. Hey, been holding the solar land for a while now. Really, really excited. Got some questions actually around customization. So I don't know how much you can talk to this at the moment, but are we going to be able to do any kind of, sort of customization of that land? I can see that we've got a little sort of house on that, which is really cool. Are we going to be able to place any sort of, items around, decorate it, that kind of thing? Will we get to name our land as well?
So this is something that the core team specifically declined to answer for now. So I'm not going to go one way or another on this because I can't answer that. So we'll see how that
You
goes.
tease us. You continue to tease us. No worries. Thank you very much.
I mean,
That's the only
I
question I
do
have.
what I can, you know.
Absolutely.
We gotta hold some stuff back for announcements down the future, right?
Got
So
it.
the answer is maybe. The answer is maybe on that one.
Cool. Cheers.
Cheers. Voidstar, you're up.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
I've got another question for you, Matt. Just like usual. Basically, how do the NFT drops work in the overworld, like the main game Celestia? I'm taking it that the NFT drops, like exotics or legendaries, are saved for the main core game loop. Like, so if I go and play dungeons, raids, that's where I'm going to get the best NFT drops, exotics and legendaries.
Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. With any sort of game, obviously, you're going to go to places that are harder to access to get more valuable and rarer drops. In this case, NFT champions, right? If you talk about like kind of the OG, like the OG Pokemon game, right? How did you get to Mewtwo, right? You had to get to the very end of the
Yeah.
game. Right, you couldn't even get Mew until you played one of the community events and they were giving it away. I remember this myself, so obviously, like, there's going to be very, very limited exotic and legendary champions, and that's going to be very hard to get to. It's going to be very rare to get those from a egg drop, and it's going to be very hard to get them from in-game storyline. Obviously, you want to maintain value there, so making sure that those are not hatched on the regular is going to be important. And so how that exactly works, what the percentages are, I don't have answers on, but I can tell you it's going to be limited. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And if I could just ask one more question, it's about the IDs of the champions and if they're being utilized anyway in game. I noticed when watching the streamer, I was thinking about, wait a minute, if I'm watching a free to play player, maybe the champions don't have an ID on the UI, but then if I'm watching an NFT player, they had an ID on their champions and so forth. You could put the ID above the champion that's roaming behind you, and there's probably other ways to do it, but I just thought it was a good idea and wondered if the team are going to utilize it in any way.
That's a great idea. As far as differentiating people who have invested into the game and have a champion and hold a digital asset there versus someone who's doing the free to play thing. That would make sense to me. I will definitely pass that on to the core team.
Okay, awesome. Right, that's me done. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you for asking there. Another one of our core community members there, Voidstar. Up next, so we have NFT rules. Nice crypto doggy, header there. You're up.
Hey everyone, hope everyone's having a good day. Thanks for this, it's really good. I've been one of the first investors since post TGE, and I've been following this closely throughout. I've lost touch a little, so I had a couple of key questions that will kind of re-engage me. Also, I've got a few fellow investors who are looking to heavily invest, but have a key question, and one of them is around the utility of Champ. They're not quite clear on what the utility of Champ will be post EA and post production launch. So if you can clarify that for me, that would be really helpful. One. And then the second thing is a personal question for me, and that's more around the MP. So I've got a whole bunch of eggs, mystery eggs, and and NFTs that I bought on the marketplace, but I cannot still access that marketplace. I tried again today. So if there's anything anyone can do to help there, that'd be great as well. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so let's answer your second question first. Second question is that Marketplace, we do know it has some issues, and that's being worked on. That is something that will be fixed among EA. And like I said earlier in this AMA, the mystery eggs themselves will be able to be accessed. Champions that you have will be able to access specifically when EA comes around. So you'll be able to start doing that. You won't need to access that marketplace anymore. Details of that to be announced, but it's coming. It's coming very, very soon on
Great.
that. So I would assume, less
So
than a month.
just to replay that to you again, Matt. Sorry, you said that the store that we currently have doesn't need to be used. Everything will be ported over to the in-game.
It would be able to be traded on OpenSea, is what I've been told at the moment.
Okay.
So in the in-game, there will be a multi-chain wallet that will be generated, but you will be able to port any of your NFTs to either OpenSea, utilize your non-custodial there, or be able to use them in-game. So that will all be possible. Okay, so and as far as the answer to your first question here, okay, the main use of Champ is to acquire champions from the market, right, in-game, and to access land from landowners. Right now, there's a few mechanics that allow us to actually utilize that. First of all, in-game, it's the only ERC20 token that's being utilized. Obviously, you have ERC, the NFTs that are being utilized in-game, but it's the only ERC20 token that will be utilized in-game. So it's the only thing that will be bought and sold champions in the actual in-game client. On the other side of that, if you're hunting for champions, battling champions, if you're going out and want to hatch your eggs that are not mystery eggs, you have to pay landowners in that. That champion, 70% of it goes, 70% of it goes to the landowner, which they can set their fees for the use of the land, and 30% of that is burnt, right? So you're transferring value to the token by burning a percentage of that, and the landowner gets the rest of that. So there's a circular economy that's happening here.
So there's a supply shock, effectively, is what you're going after.
Yes. So the idea being is there is a limited amount in the market. The supply demand will determine the price of how much gets burnt, how much goes to the actual landowners, and there will be a eventual going price that will establish itself as it moves forward.
Okay.
In early access, Matic's completely going to be taken off the in-game marketplace, right? So Champ is going to be the sole currency used. And then, like I said, you have a percentage of those actually being burned to transfer value to the token.
Yeah, because a few people are waiting for me to relay this information back, and the liquidity is not an issue, right? It's still going to be all on. Are you looking at listing? So it's a third question. Are you listing on more exchange? Are you looking to list on more exchanges? Because currently most of it's just done by the quick swap.
Yeah. So here's the thing. This has been asked a few times within the Telegram group. Obviously, we're looking to list on more exchanges. However, right, even if we had information about how or when that was happening, we can't release that, right? That's not going to be something that exchanges will look upon favorably.
Sure.
So yes, but even if that was in the works, I can't say anything about it.
No, it's liquidity is going to be the key driver to that as well. So one of the key drivers, obviously, they're looking at the tokenomics, the utility, and then the liquidity as well. So all of those will add up. So I'll watch this space. Like I said, I can't be more made up about the game. It looks absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to get my hands on it myself. So, and all the positive marketing that's been happening and the changes that have taken effect have been amazing. So really, really excited to kind of continue the journey.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for being around and sticking around and re-engaging. I know it's been a little bit, but we're finally getting there. EA is around the corner, and that's really exciting for all of us. Yeah, so thank you for your question, and thank you for clarifying all that. I think a lot of people have the same type of questions. Okay, do we have any more questions here? Does anyone else want to speak at the moment? If so, please raise your hand. We are having, as you all know at the moment, a solar land sale. So if that's something you want to do, go on ahead. Link in our Twitter page at the moment. It's been a little bit over 50, I'm guessing, minted at this point. And so that's something that's really exciting that's happening right now. And EA is just around the corner. So, look forward to that. Game is ready. We're just setting some dates with not OpenSea, with Epic Games at the moment. So kind of just waiting on that front. We have two more questions here. Let's get them in. Okay, so United Properties, you're up. We can.
Cool. First thing, congratulations on the game. I'm in the community from the start, from the Trust Swap launchpad. So I have two small questions. So the first is, what are going to be the platforms, the supported platforms? So I'm currently having a MacBook. So are we going to be able to play from a MacBook or only from a Windows? So this is the first question. And the second one, if you have any thoughts on the forecasted number of users that you aim for?
Yeah, so we're starting on PC, and then from there, we're making sure that we're expanding platforms, right? So the idea being deploying a platform, which is PC, which is obviously the majority of gamers, and then expanding from that point, making sure we're addressing the largest markets first, making sure the game is really good, and then expanding. What we don't want to do is we don't want to expand to multiple platforms, have bugs that we need to fix, and then have to put out multiple builds, right? That's not something that we want. So starting at PC and then expanding from there. Obviously there is a large contingent of Mac gamers. That's something the team is definitely looking at, as well as mobile gaming. Those will come in the future as we get closer to normal game launch.
Cool. Thank you.
And what was you had a second question as well, if I remember?
If you forecasted a number of users or do you have any aim regarding that?
I personally do not know what the team has forecasted. I am a conduit for information, so I don't really have an idea of what the goals are at the moment. But based on our Twitter growth over the past week and a half to 2 weeks, I'm hopeful on my side to see a very successful launch.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely. So I believe we have Gems up. Hello.
Yes, hello, hi. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Welcome. Oh, sorry. I think Arvin was first. Was Arvin first?
Sure.
Yeah, sorry about that. Don't mean to mess up the order here. Arvin, you're up.
Yeah, no worries. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay, perfect. Just had one quick question regarding security and stuff. So I know where the game itself will kind of create an in-game wallet where we'll store all our land and NFTs and whatnot. So far from like the beta that I tried out, we kind of just logged in with an email and a password. Would there be any two-factor authentication or other like security layers enabled just because of like the high compromisable nature of crypto in general and stuff?
That's a really good question, and I don't know the answers to that. Let me send that message to the team and get back to you. If you wouldn't mind asking that in our Telegram group, I can send that and ask.
Okay, perfect. I'll send that over.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know some of these small specifics about things like that.
Yeah, no worries. I also think that would also be an interesting way to market as well, because it would definitely be like an edge over some of the other games.
Yeah, 100%. And thanks for bringing that up. It's obviously something that we should have answered. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Absolutely. So, Gems, I think it's actually your turn now.
All right. Yep. No problem. So, firstly, I just want to say big thanks for all you're doing, Matt, and all the Amazix team as well. Shout out to them, to Alex, and all the dev team, Team No Sleep. Keep up the great work. You guys really are knocking it out of the park, and I can't wait to see what's in store. It's been such a privilege to be part of what I honestly think is the best and most loyal community in the whole crypto space. So I had a couple questions, if that's okay. The first one is regarding the land. Is there an incentive for players to rent your land other than battling for the chance of an egg drop, like to gain experience, train up your champions? And then the other question was, will there be other NFTs involved in the game, such as the items, skins, potions? Will those be purchasable in Champ, or is that going to be another currency, an in-game non-cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so with any sort of game like this, right? You have a few questions in there, so I'm gonna try to answer them one at a time. So your first question was specifically about the incentives for. Say that one again, just so I remember.
Yeah.
I'm not answering
So other
a bill in
than
my head.
battling for the chance of an egg drop, will people also use your land simply to gain experience points battling the champions?
Yeah, so you have to use land in order to battle champions to get egg drops, but you also have to use that land to hatch those eggs. So if you want to actually have an NFT that you can use in game to battle and then to level up, right, experience, we have these guaranteed, level 1, level 5, level 10 that we're talking about learning extra moves. You do have to, utilize those NFTs or in game, which means you have to utilize the land itself to hatch them in the first place. Whether or not that XP system is exclusive to not islands but land, I am not sure. But I am guessing it doesn't have to be exclusive, only because you have to have some element for gamers that are not utilizing the land, right? So if you want to get NFTs, you do have to use it. If you want to hatch the eggs, you do have to use it. If you want to get the eggs in the first place, you do have to use it. But experience itself, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was your other question?
And then the other question was, we kind of, had a sneak peek of other items that are in the game, like potions and, various other things. So I was wondering if some of those will also be NFTs purchasable in Champ, and may there even be some things introduced like skins, gliders, rope for mounting and climbing, things like that.
Sure. I mean, so I'm going to patch a few different things, a few bits of information here together, because at the moment, you know as much as I do on some of this stuff. So I'm going to say that the items are not NFTs, and this is me guessing right now, right? The items are generally not NFTs because you have to have a free-to-play player that can enjoy the game still, right? So they're going through, there is most likely a currency that they can use that and sell it for in game. But in order to do the things that are really important to the game, you have to use champ, right? The eggs, the land, that sort of thing. So I am guessing at the moment, and I have not received confirmation of this. There is most likely another in-game currency that will be for things that are specific towards potions, things like that you kind of saw during the trailer. But that is me guessing. I do not know. But based on what we have received on the information saying that, hey, yeah, a free-to-play player can come through and actually enjoy the game still, they would have to be able to use things like potions and that sort of thing. So that's my guess. But your guess is as good as mine at the moment.
All right. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. So I believe we have a few more people. Let's get Kobe up here next in Hollywood. Welcome, welcome. Kobe, you're up first. Kobe, you're up. Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Hey, Kobe here. I'm one of the Waypoint creators that actually test out the test build. I can say it's really fun. It's really engaging. I just do. I just need a quick two questions. Is there a way, or is it actually possible for you to heal your champions while in a battle? Because we haven't had that um, ability. And the second question will be in regarding the lands. Will you be able to like battle the landowner, like how gym leaders work in another game?
Yeah, so I'll answer your second question first. First of all, on the second question, there is a PvP that is coming. So as far as whether that is specifically the landowner or only other players has not been confirmed one way or another yet. I mean, you will be able to battle landowners, but is that a gym style system? I don't know. That would be very cool. I would
Yeah.
love to see that happen, but the core team has not confirmed or denied that yet.
Mhm.
On the other side of that, healing champions within the actual battles themselves. Were you able to use any items in a battle yet?
No, sir. Just the attack, the counters, and the skip.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that would make sense. That would be a mechanic that would be coming through. I don't know. That would be something I can't imagine the team would overlook. Sorry, you're getting some feedback there. I can't imagine that would be something the team would not implement, but I don't know for sure. Maybe not. I would love to see it personally.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm in the office right now, so you'll be hearing some feedback from the room. Thank you. That's all from me.
All good. Thanks for coming and thanks for testing out. I'm glad you found it really interesting, and it was a lot of fun to play. So next up, Hollywood, your turn.
Hey, Matt, thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely.
So I just want to echo what a couple of the OGs have already kind of said, but just for me personally, I've been with the project since the very beginning, and I just want to say it's been an incredible journey to watch the growth of NFT Champions. From the beginning, with the way that the dev team has worked, they're very heads down. I mean, it's incredible what they've built in the amount of time that they've had since the token launch. We didn't get much information as to so many mechanics during the game and everything like that, but there was so much chatter within Telegram over the past year and a half. And I just want to say it's incredible to see and know that the team has actually just been watching and listening to the community. Like the things that we're seeing is just blowing me away. I've never been more excited about the project, and it's solely because the team is definitely listening to what we're saying, which gets me super excited. But my question that I want to bring up, and I think this is kind of what Gems was getting at. So with the landowners, because you're talking about, obviously the utility behind it with eggs and hatching and whatnot, but will there be other utility by owning land? One of the main questions that kind of comes to my mind, because I remember from the 10-minute gameplay video, there's the healing potions in the marketplace and all that kind of stuff, and it actually shows ingredients for those potions. So, first thing that came to my mind was like, can you use the land to farm? Can you create these potions by growing the ingredients, or is there anything like that'll be used for the land besides the eggs and the hatching and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we did actually have this question a few times, and like I said earlier in the AMA, this question was declined to be answered. I have to hold off on actually answering that because I don't know specifically. There obviously is a way to gain those elements. There's a way to gain the various types of things that need to go into crafting a potion, right? Where that comes from, is it from drops in battling champions? Is it from the land? I don't know. I have no idea because that information was not given to me. So really great speculation there, but I just don't have the information for you on that front.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you. Mario, I believe you're up next. And this is the last one we're going to take right now. We are kind of an hour right now. It's our longest one so far. It's just been question after question after question. So let's go. Mario, you're up.
Hello, Matt. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
I have just one fast question. When will we see market cap?
So as we were talking about in Telegram, it's quite hard to get everyone on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko to actually update things at the moment. So we've been trying. The team has been reaching out on the regular, and we haven't really heard back. So we're trying. It's happening. We're not ignoring everyone, but it's happening. There is a community member. Maybe someone can post this in the main Telegram chat for me, because I know it's been running around for a bit. There was a community member that actually did build a market cap checker. So if someone could post that in our Telegram right now, that would be really great. We're trying to get it updated. It just we haven't been able to get the teams on that side to happen. We're working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Trevor, I believe, hand up real quick, and then this is it.
Hey, was that? I was just trying to reiterate again. With land, it's supposed to be only common and uncommon that hatch, correct? And the team is still selling directly on the marketplace, correct? Because that is part of Burns buybacks rewards. And do we happen to know anything with the passive rewards if epic and legendaries will be implemented with that?
I'm not quite understanding your question. Could you ask that again?
So I mean, first, yeah, sorry, I kind of jumped from one thing to another. So land, the hatching is going to be with common and uncommon champs. Also, or if that is correct, I'm trying to ask if that's true. And then also, I'm hoping the team has a good balance on how much. I know that like players put the price up or whatnot, but things have to work out to where it's balanced well enough to where people will still buy directly from the marketplace, and then people also hatching on land. It can't be swayed too much from one side to another. And then the last thing I was saying is for passive rewards for our legendary drops, exotic drops, if those or legendary items, exotic items.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to try to get everything in my answer here. Press me if I don't get anything, because that's a lot. So first of all, there needs to be a balance, right? In any sort of game like this, you need to balance between hatching common, uncommon, as well as other eggs. But that can't be too many, right? If you do eggs that come out and you match, or you hatch 1,000 legendary, it's no longer legendary, right? You don't want that to happen. So I'm guessing there's going to be some side of percentage system where anything that is on the higher end of that, everything that's on the exotic, the legendary side, will be either exclusive to marketplace or be very, 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 very hard to hatch. The problem is, and this is once again me speculating, I'm guessing right now, you can't only have eggs that are common, uncommon, right? You do have to have some rares in there. There are small amounts, right? Small amounts of that being hatched, because who is going to pay to hatch another common? Who's going to pay to hatch another uncommon? So there needs to be a chance to hatch a little bit more of the rarity while balancing keeping the actual price for the people who are that have these legendary and exotic champions, right? So how that mechanic works, I don't know specifically, but I'm guessing it's going to be a mix. I'm guessing there will be exclusive champions that are only able to be bought, and there will be some that you can hatch. But the ones that are going to be rare, the ones that are going to be super rare, legendary, exotic, right? All those things, very, very hard, if possible at all, to hatch, right? But there needs to be an element of rarity. There needs to be an element of, oh, I wonder what I'm going to get. And that is part of the challenge that Alex and the dev team have been grappling with, right? How do you do that? And there's a few examples of games out there that do this very well, right? If you look back at the card game, for example, Magic the Gathering, right? I used to play when I was younger, and what you don't have a rare foil in every pack. It doesn't happen, but they happen, right? And how many are in existence, right? Just a few, but you don't get them every time you open something, so that makes it valuable. and it's a matter of porting that type of mechanic to the blockchain. And so I have no doubt that the team has this handled, but exactly what that mechanic is, we don't know yet. So we'll see. Long way of saying we'll see. Okay, well, everyone, thank you so much. Trevor, thank you for your questions. Thank you to the rest of our OGs that stood up and all the new people that we're seeing in this game. If you haven't and you're considering it, you know, the Solar Land drop is going on for another few days. Grab that. If not, very, very excited to start opening up early access soon enough. We will keep everyone informed when we have a date for that specifically. And thank you so much for showing up to our round 3 of AMA. Bye, everyone. Have a good morning, evening, night, no matter where you are. I'll see you all in the Telegram chat. Bye, all.
Bye. Thank you very much for answering the questions.
Of course. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Great job.